Skin, you with me?
Going up. Yeah, what's up with it, man?
There he is, Skin and Bones, finally in the building. I know you was trying to use that lovely webcam and have it be real,
Man,
real.
we had it before, but it's all good, brother.
Yeah, dude. When we did
No trouble.
Vigilante Radio, bro.
Yeah, no, I was just in the middle of putting together OG Skin and Bones, Follow the Lights, which is gonna be like 14 cuts of previously unreleased and the original versions of some of the songs.
Bro,
It's
you
out
you
there.
always got so many projects in the work. Every time we talk, Skin's like, yo, I got a new thing that I'm doing. I think I can count off the just thinking about it. If we include what you just told me, I think I can name 4 projects that I know you working on.
Well, this was stuff
Maybe
that's
more
already
because
done.
because that diamond series that you're doing is like multiple projects.
Yeah, it's a 3-part series. But we just dropped New Tales from the Hood shit. That's a mini album. They call it a mini album, but back when I was coming up, 7 songs, 8 songs, like Majesty said. I was so glad to hear him say that because these labels and I was like, no, 7 songs is an album. No, it's not, bitch. It's an EP or whatever. But yeah, so we got the 7 song New Tales from the Hood shit that just dropped, and the 5 song EP and G7 way flyer than a G6, hosted by DJ Mad Mix and Murdoch, which is kind of like an installment that's gonna build to like the Garter 7, which is gonna have drops from Q Local being locked up. So we're kind of bleeding it like a build up to like a whole project. So I got the 5 best songs to reflect my mentality. That's why it's called the Lamani F and Co EP, because I wanted to kind of bleed from Skin and Bones into like more of my personal self, I guess, or something. And then when we do the whole Garter 7, it'll be fleshed out more or skinned out more, however you want to put it, with a full collection of songs. There's actually 2 bonus songs on the 5th song, Boneyard, if y'all check that out. Boys in the Boneyard, which is a remix of the Boys in the Boneyard off the Nomad thing. So I constantly keep the book of Thugs going where we remix songs, or Tupac or Wu Tang, how they always go back to their shit and remix it or reintroduce it. Even P did that. I like doing that. I think that you can go so many angles with your own ideals, and they always tell a new perspective on something to refresh it. So that's why I'm dropping OG Skin and Bones Follow the Light, because I want people to see songs that were being hashed out from like 2008 all the way up to like now. They get to hear classic songs that's never been released. And I actually have a collection like that. Not a lot of affiliates can do that. And like you hear with so many of the affiliates, songs had to get sat on or this and that. And it's exciting to be able to see the Queen. I got a chance to build with her. It's good to see her still doing it. I was connected to Dooley, so it was good to finally see Majesty. Um, it was good to see Capone. I mean, I've always loved Capone's stories, very similar. We've been chopping it up. Um, so it's just good to see us finally come full circle and get the recognition that we deserve for being shakers and movers, especially with Black Caesar. I got right on the phone with him, let him know that I appreciated his interview, how hard he came, because
Yeah,
like you
bro.
said, a lot of us just wasn't willing to do a lot of that because when you had these other forms, they always tried to make fun of us or something. I don't know, or try to belittle us because they weren't us. So we're the only clique of group or individuals, affiliates or whatever, where the fans don't appreciate us as much as every other group. Like Masterpiece people, No Limit, they appreciate them. Wu Tang's people, they appreciate the affiliates, Killer Army, Killer Priest, all them. They appreciate those people. But this new era, you know, it's definitely like the WWE universe, which I'm glad y'all coined it, Bone Thug Universe or Bone Universe, because that's fitting. It's like we're finally getting a connection with the fans that we deserve on an independent cultic level. I think the cult following like Misfits or Bad Brains, more of a punk rock type of thing. I think that that's good that we build that relationship because I can see 5 to 10 years from now, world still spinning in Iman Mandu's hands, which is her womb. Like I could see us definitely being on a whole nother intergalactic. I prophesied that in Thug Star Galactica, like when Busy said we was gonna be on 3D. Well, this is 3D basically, holograms and everything, and that's why I was building with, the other forms the way I did. Who would ever thought that labels would be chanting out their website labels, and we were doing that. We were the first to be online and be record labels, chamber music, cross promoting. all these things you see Marjay and those people doing with Wu, we were doing back with chamber music. I still have G Clef on speed dial. He was like the big boss for Ryzin and him. So what you guys are doing now is just a prophecy fulfilled, and I'm just glad to see it to see it in my lifetime. That work that we put in come fruition.
You know, bro, it's been it's been an honor for us every time we hear someone say like we haven't fucked with interviews and shit because we just don't trust them. And the amount of people that are like, we're doing this because you know we trust your platform and what you're doing, and a lot. I mean, bro, you said it. Even Black Caesar said, hey, you know, me and Phil and all of us, we're not in the limelight like that. Like we don't. This isn't something we do, and it's majesty. Like it's an honor and a privilege to know that we've built something that people trust. And the same way I was saying, K Chill, Capone, Shutter, you're one of those early guys that immediately got in line with Beyond the Harmony when we had a couple hundred subscribers, and you were like, yo, y'all gotta keep doing this, keep doing this. Like you saw a vision before. I think that you saw the vision for where we're at now and where we're headed before even we really did. Like when we started up, we were like, bro, we just on
We
here talking a
ritualized
little
you
bone.
guys. We ritualized y'all. I mean, magically. I mean, I want to offend anyone, but the spirits are good. You know, they knew that what we had to go through to get here. Like we lost a lot of people, man. That's why the fans have to understand it's not funny. You know, it's not a game. You know, for Black Caesar to be so jovial and so excited and happy after everything really made me feel good. I had to tell him like, bro, you really did. To find that joy, to be able to, you got to understand they squeeze. He won't say it, but I will. You know, because they can come after me if they want to. You know, but they squeezed him out of Alpha and Omega. You feel me? Like he's not on there. He was on there, but he's not on there. He's in the credits like he was on the songs. There's songs there. You see what I'm saying? They Baby Phil was on there. You see what I'm saying? This is all during the from reincarnated street entrepreneur to the New Testament that they with Busy's Afro to Alpha and Omega. That was a bigger project. They still tried to fucking have it movie it, you know? And that's why it doesn't matter. I never was a dude to put out, you know, songs with Busy and shit, man. I just wanted to rock with the fam, man. I just wanted to let Capo and Easy and Dragos know that everything they did will never be forgotten. Thug Queen, Boogie Night, talk to them, Chaz, you know, cats that just burn out. You know, that's why some of them won't show. But you guys let the spirits lead you, the passion that you have for a true Assembly United Gathering Souls, from the Life Thug line to Mo Thug Harmony House, all the way over here to Seven Sign, BB Ken Beating Crime Family, Q Local La Familia, Tay Smalls, you know, Capo Regime, Busy Bone Entertainment, Seven Sigil Recordings, all the way through with Houdini, you know, being that dude that definitely, he was my little brother, my little big brother, because we, you know, after Q and I, he was the generation. That third generation is him. There's no one else but him. He's like the whole third generation is on his back because he's everything that we needed on a business level outside of myself and Q. And he's a great administrator. So the way that you guys work it, it took us years to get here and see everybody.
Can you just kind of explain to people, you being who, you know, I come to you for so much seven sign information, because even though you came in later generations, you've embodied knowing and learning the entire history of the seventh sign and the other members and where you're from. I know that you listened to the Majesty interview in depth. Can you kind of just tell the people what it means to you and the seventh sign when you guys hear like Majesty talk about the fact that we're going to work on a seventh sign documentary? Like, it's time for this story to be told and to not just be bottled inside of Black Caesar and Baby Phil and Skin and Bones. Like, what does that truly mean in comparison to other documentaries?
Well, I mean, the ones say the same, and Imam Mandu's womb be full of love, life, and joy. They can masterpiece it just like B did with the Alpha and Omega. You know, that's what The Alpha Mega was like a teaser, and then when you look at the old board documentary with the videos, like I said before, that was a testimonial. Shout out to Scales, baby, I love you. You know, we built a lot. Cannot forget Scales, the crazy bone of our clique, the Rick Ross of our clique. Of course, y'all can find him on the movement. But the thing is that me and him used to talk about that a lot. How B was gonna give everybody, you know, in the first generation, their own DVD, music videos, just like he did in Ruthless. He brought it full circle, you know, and like I told you before, which Majesty was a confirmation of it coming out of his pocket. I witnessed B do that with a DJ. He took a whole grand plus out of his pocket just to make sure the DJ was taken care of. So the show for the release of Reincarnated Street Entrepreneur could be right. Um, so Rick was a big part. You know, though, I mean, I love Rick and everything, but it feels good to be where we are now. And if it hadn't been for the painstaking steps that he made with the story and that he made with Alpha and Omega and his own project, being able to put Busy in a position to be with Cuckoo Cal and all that. There's a video with that, Roll With Us, that never came out. So you understand these visuals are important, just like Capone was talking about, with us being in the scenes and behind the scenes. And like Thug Queen talked about the politics. Um, you understand these politics, man, are still there. And it's again up to you guys, like, to have that don't give a fuck attitude, because as long as you have a piece of the empire, you have the whole empire. Because that's like saying you got $1, but you're broke. You'll never be broke as long as you got $1. It's just you have to know how to flip that dollar to 100 and so forth and so on. And that's what we've been doing with the Bone Empire, through Busy Bone, Seven Sign, and even Dragos being like that behind the scenes guy, you know, because truth be told, Unique is where he's at. Certain individuals are where they're at, and there's no hard feelings. But the ones who said fuck politics or fuck this or fuck that, the same way you guys are saying it when it comes to the media aspect of things, is what it's going to take. So, I mean, I know in due season it'll all make sense, and the hard work that people like myself, Dragos, Black Caesar, um, Black Caesar, Dragos, there's one other person, Houdini Black, has put in to ensure to this day, only one media is still at the top for Seven Sign Busy Bone and information. And our catalogs help to do that. And the Q locals with 10,000 a month or a week help to do that with the Sergio Halo features and so forth and so on. I've talked to that gentleman before back in the day. And even with Elion, though we've excommunicated him for his dishonor and his disrespect, you know, he did what he did. And had he not done that in Coronado for Song for You, none of this would be possible. Sickness.net, none of that stuff. The Brother Clays, you know, the Excel Beats in August, so forth and so on. So Nina Jackson, you know, those people are important, man, vitally important to
Skin,
what we are today.
Patrick Rico in the chat wants to know if you can expand on what you mean by about the politics.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not really hard to explain or understand or overstand, but I mean, you have to understand that industry, like you guys were talking about with Thug Queen, the industry then is not the industry now, even what Mr. Majesty said, Big Bro Majesty. Just for instance, like, give it like this. I knew Dooley. We were reaching out during that time. But Seven Sign was broke down in this actual generation so much that they only go by familiarity. So this is why you have to understand that no other conglomerate connected to us through anyone can be Seven Sign any generation if they don't know a mover and shaker in the group. Now, granted, we have Houdini Black, the illustrious, you know, nail in the coffin that came out in Resurrection for a rebirth. But you have to understand, those are like New Mutants and a House of X-Men. Again, it's like being in some type of organized group, and you ain't never talked to hardly anybody that founded anything. There's a lot of guys that might have featured in things, but this is La Familia. It's a real thing. It's not about, you know, who's on the list and who my favorite buddy is. It's about us coming together and making sure that if Caesar needs something, I provide. If you need to come up here, if I need to go out there, baby Phil daughter needs something. You know, Houdini's children need something. That's what we're about. My son, little skinny bones, Monty the genius, he needs something. Q Local talked to my son. Dragos has talked to my son. When my son was in the hospital, Dragos was there, man. Right there talking to him, man. So you guys got to be, not you guys, but the fans have to understand that this is for real. So these other guys that always talk about they know us, they don't know Black Caesar. Baby Phil hardly talks to anybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that, you know. So Q Loco, he's indisposed. I'm the only person that has video, live video of Q Loco. And I'm very careful with that. I've only released it a few times just so that people could understand. I want people to remember his contributions. And it's to the point to where we might not even be able to get phone calls. We don't want to rattle his cage, but he's given us enough to let you guys know that, hey, this is how we got it going. This is how it's set up. Everybody can't speak on everything, but if we handle it with kitty gloves or careful hands, things can come out, especially like that limited edition, you know, interview. You guys can hear his voice, know what was on his mind, because a lot of people missed out on that. 80,000 people heard that however many years ago. It'll be fresh for you guys, especially now that we have a platform like Mr. Majesty said. We can unsheath certain things now because we can trust that someone's not going to try and plant it up there like they did Busy Bone and call it the Confessions. Now we think, you know what I'm saying, guys. So
Yeah, I think for us, I think, and it's weird because for as much praise as we get for that, you know, we've taken heat as well that we're so true to it. In fact, in all the time that we've done this, I can only think of a couple times that we've ever censored anything, and it's basically any time that it implicates somebody into some sort of crime. Because we're not those guys. Besides that, we've never censored or changed shit, you know, because people's story is their story. And it's interesting because, you know, we've often got, oh, so and so you had on is telling a lie or this and that or whatever, and I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not here to decide whose truth is true and whose lie is a lie. You know, I'm here to ask the questions. And who am I to even say that just because one man's perception is this is a lie, that other man's is you know, is not the truth. It's like we got to hear from everybody, and that's why we do what we do. And it's like I think that if you're a fan that isn't familiar with, we'll just use you. If you're not familiar with Skin and Bones, and you don't take the time to click this, you never find out that you're the, you know, the historian, you're the guy that's working so hard to make sure that the seventh sign name is always something that we know about. Because you're not the guy that's also out there saying, yo, I'm this dude. I'm this dude that's the book. And you and I talked about it in private where I was like, hey, you got all this knowledge and you know all this stuff, and it's great that you know it, but if something was to happen to Skin and Bones tomorrow, how much of that do we lose because you are, you know, that piece of the story that knows so much of the story. And I think that's what makes this channel important, is that we're trying to solidify things for historical purposes forever. And that's why when people are like, you got to get Bone, you got to get Bone. Bro, I'd love to have Bone. I think I'd give any member of Bone the best interview that they've ever had, hands down. Hands down. I'm just putting me up against anybody. But if they never come on, it's all right because they've told their story for 25 years on 2,500 platforms. So it's all right if we don't have them.
we got to go from the crossroads to the boneyard and back, baby, and that's Drago's vision. And I just want to say publicly, man, I love you, Andre Bell. Thank you, man. Your magic, your alchemy, it manifested this. Dragos, Andre Bell manifested this. His drive and his energy and his faith in me, and Q Local's faith in me, and Scale's faith in me. Those three unmovable forces is the reason why Skin and Bones, aka Donna DeLeon Doctrino, does it. So that when Majesty made this trip here, his red, blue, and purple carpet would be laid out plush. Because that's what it's all about. When Big Dog Q Local comes home, because he will make it home, it'll be plush. When Scale decides to come from out the shadows, it's plush now.
That's
We
close.
did it.
That's close.
We did it, man.
It
We
was
made it so that these guys wouldn't have to duck and dodge. Because I'm going to say this publicly. I mean, you got to think if someone was able to hold a career of good gentlemen from the street by the gonads for so long, who really wants their offsprings and their brain children to be prosperous if they're not getting anything out of it? It's just a greedy ass world, and so that's why streaming is so important. And this network is great because at the end, it could be a rap a lot, or it could be a No Limit Forever, or a Star Trek: The Next Generation, or Deep Space Nine. Look at DC. They not only did a New 52, a rebirth, they turn around and now they're doing Future State. They're doing so much with their characters, even merging with Jim Lee's characters and so forth. So there's unlimited, untapped ability when you put your money on the right horse or the right dog in the fight, because it's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog. And as I said previous interviews with you guys, it's all about the ones who want to stay concurrent, moving, and synergized. And that's where you put your energy. The Capone who still has the energy, you know what I'm saying? Uh, and all the other people that are doing it. And this is kind of why Houdini initially passed it down to me, because he knew see, we have a respect for each other and our abilities. I know that he's the computer thug, not that he bangs behind the computer, but he bangs on the computer and he gets shit done. So he's a super computer thug. He knows that I'm the scroll keeper. And I'm out here with the griots, I'm out here with the spiritus and the voodoo and the hoodoo and the Kabbalah. And I do that. And I maintain that like Merlin for the Knights of the Round Table. You feel me? Baby Phil's the one in the cut that's got the history that we all share in private and says hello every now and again and tends to his family. And Black Caesar just don't give a fuck. Just like Q Local don't give a fuck. Just like Majesty don't give a fuck. So you see, it's all a pecking order. We all know our roles, even if we never say, even if I never meet Majesty in person. Majesty laid it out. Then Q Local, and of course Hitler, and so forth and so on. So all we have to do is pay attention. And with the last consigliere, a consigliere being someone who is a liaison or a counselor in a sense, be able to communicate. So I am somewhat of a mini PR in specific arenas for those who don't feel like they need to speak, shouldn't have to speak. Drago shouldn't have to tell his story over and over again, like you said with Bone. This is things that pass down to us to facilitate to the new generation with new generation words, with new generation verbiage, because the OGs are going to speak from an OG perspective, which might be hard for the young waivers to understand and understand. So we can speak their language, their dialect, as well as theirs, as well as our own, if that makes sense.
yeah. You know, it's I think about Seven Sign and the way that it took us 3 seasons to start to break the ice there to gain that. But now you see we had Black Caesar on tonight. We have Majesty back on tonight. I'm in touch with Baby Phil. I'm in
Well, they
touch with
watch how
you.
you handle people like myself. That's
A-
what you guys don't
And
realize either. They watch in silence.
and I told you, bro, Majesty interview dropped, Scales reached out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Well, nobody wants to be viewed as passed on if they're not, seeing that everyone had lost so much. But the thing is that he went through his own struggles, and we know what it is. That's not for me to tell, but I'm just glad that he made it out okay, and that's all that's important, because we still have records with this new with the volume 2. We'll put out more songs that have features on it. The ecstasy song, we got that he produced himself and stuff like that. There's a whole unreleased project that he produced for me. You see what I'm saying? So when people get to talking that bullshit about Skin and Bones this and Skin and Bones that, nobody was in Cleveland on the stage with Thug Line and Mo Thug with J Mac, who they call Lil Mac from Mortal Thugs. Stu was there, PD's, Baby Phil, Scale, you know what I'm saying? Like Ice, DJ Ice. Nobody was there for Peabody's. Peabody's is not even there anymore. So nobody knows the personal relationships that we formed behind the scenes, and we never blabbed about a lot of it because we knew one day it would manifest itself to a level and a degree that all would be able to honor and respect it. Otherwise, it's just jealousy, and there's nothing wrong with jealousy when it has a purpose. But why hate or be jealous of something that is in harmony and melodic flow for the good of mankind, especially thug kind, when you truly humbly united gather?
Do you believe, as somebody that knows so much about the history of Seventh Sign and what we refer to as the generations, which is different than we refer to any other group of affiliates to Bone, do you believe that there is a future generation of Seventh Sign that hasn't been birthed yet, or do you kind of feel like the rebirth generation was the end of that, or is there a whole nother generation that may come?
Well, I'll tell you like this. That's a wonderful question. See, and what's up with you, John? I love you guys. What's up, Mr. Weaver? Um, I'll say this: the prophecy from Capo, because we work like on a Machiavellian level. The prophecy from Capo regime, Hitler, Capo, Confucius, rest in power, was the future Thugs in Harmony. Now I held that spot. Me, Chico, Baby Phil Flames, we were working on that. But as the future we reveal, that's Bloodline Harmony. So it's 1, 2, 3, then Bloodline Harmony. Then those hopefully those rebirth brothers will do what they need to do to be on the level, when it comes to an industry situation. I'm not saying that, from what I know and from what I've understood and been able to witness, they've got the fire, they've got the spit, but excuse me, they have to take what we established a little more serious. Otherwise, it's more of a street team if you're looking at it from the big dog's perspective. Like if one of these, like on a kick it level, we're gonna all be at the cookout. But if you're talking about starting lineups and all that, or you're talking about a war, we're not gonna send the young ones out there to get marked like that. That's not cool. They may think they're ready, but we're not gonna set them up like that, because Professor X, Wolverine, wouldn't do that. Cable, he wouldn't do that to the X-Force or the New Mutants, if you will, because understand, they were the New Mutants before they were even the X-Force, and only the ones that were suited made it to the X-Force after that. See what I'm saying? So they're not in X-Force status yet. They're still New Mutants. And that being said, you got to look at it like Bloodline Harmony has already proved it. Stig, Soul Throat in the game. They are exactly what Capo professed that they would be, the future Thugs in Harmony. And that's what we were holding down. If you Google all of our posters and stuff and how we approach things, we had the future. Sometimes we would release covers and projects like Master P that we knew probably weren't going to come out for another couple years, but it was an imagery, it was a prophecy, it's magic. And we professed that and we manifested that. So now, Lil Busy and the Harmony God and Soul Throat and Sinatra and all the rest of them are ready. Goldie and them, they are the generation after the third generation Seven Signs. So after Houdini, it's Bloodline Harmony. Then hopefully, when the One Says So and Mother Earth, Zamun does, ready for them to do their thing. Not to say they're not making records and collaborations, but again, you have to even look back at the second generation from Alpha and Omega. That whole tape that Black Caesar was talking about was a street tape. This is prior to the internet being real big. The Glory video, when Elion was a part of that. But see, again, what kind of tainted that was someone trying to replace Capo, or someone trying to say that the Seven was dead, instead of just playing their part. They were doing way too much. You know what I'm saying? And you can't be doing way too much when it comes to a scenario like that. You got to know your position. Mr. Majesty spoke on that. Black Caesar spoke on that. Q Local taught us that, to know our role and stay in our lane. And that's why we're so powerful, because we're not over there trying to be lazy bone. We're not trying to be wishbone. We're not trying to be crazy bone, flesh and bone. I'm skin and bone, $sign. Just like, you want to see the science? Wishbone with the $sign. Okay? Because it was crazy, lazy, crazy, and busy. Everybody knows that. Then bam, wish. So he was actually flesh before flesh was flesh, but flesh was there. He was stacked, but it's the $sign. Affiliated, then bam, it's a 4-man group. Bam, it's really a 5-man group. Flesh goes solo. First, they give him the props because he's the one to help coordinate everything with Lazy to make it happen. Okay, so then trickle it down to Majesty. Starting lineup, $sign. Affiliated. Skin and bones. $sign, not skin and bone. Yeah, we say it every now and again. Throw it out there like shout out to Bone. But we know where we got it from. We skin and bones. With a $sign with an S. We're affiliated. We're the skin and bones. We're the family tree of the affiliates. We're the starting lineup of the new affiliates that come from the old school. So we're that bridging that gap. The same way that Majesty and Wishbone did their thing. That's how we did it. for what you're talking about now, to make it for Beyond the Harmony and be out with the BTNH board and all the mother suckers that was trying to be our handlers, like they was giving us some cash when they wasn't. They was trying to take cash from us.
Skin, it's always interesting to have you on as I expand the network. One of the big things that I'm trying to do is have you involved in a real seventh sign family tree document-esque way, and I hope that's something that we can start to work on as we go into the network. And I appreciate you calling in, man. Before I let you go off here, I know that we had a real intense conversation. We served a lot up for the fans, and viewership the whole time you've been on has stayed into it, because I think that we had a lot of lighthearted, fun with a lot of guests. But I know that for you, this is always a very serious, from the heart thing. This is something that you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. Is there anything else that you want to leave with everybody watching right now before I let you go?
I just want to tell BB, Majesty, Big B, Nina, Dragos, Scale, Houdini, I love y'all, man. Black Caesar, I appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with the homie. And let me hold it down, get the fleas off the dog's back, man. Sitting next to Busy Man, Reincarnated Street Entrepreneur Show, next to him, asking about the covers, man, and then seeing him again in 07. Always very humble. Then seeing him again, 2013, 14, took all our tapes, embraced what we was doing, Lazy Bone, embracing what we doing via Boneyard with Dragos. Just lovely individuals, man. And I don't think fans understand. We're flesh and blood beings, man. Please see us as flesh and blood. Please see us as people that are protecting one another from a devilish situation that, takes people's lives and souls and shits on them. If you could see us like that, then you'll get more from us like that, because, the higher powers and forces and the ancestors will give you exactly what you desire if you walk up right before us. No good thing will we withhold from you. Truly, humbly united, gathering souls.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Skin and Bones. I want to thank you again for calling in. Let's fill that chat up with those $7 signs. Skin, I'll be in touch real soon, brother. We're going to get you back on here real soon, my guy.
On the one, baby. On the one.
Thank you, my brother. Let's fill that chat up one time with all those $7 signs.
Very good. Yes. So while the interview was in place, I put a link to Skin and Bones' catalog. It doesn't include his stuff that he's done the last 2 years. It's everything that he had done up until the interview that I did with him on season 1. So he's got like albums upon albums. It's huge. If you want to check that link out, check it out. Skin and Bones' catalog is deep. And he also has like a group called the Orchid. It's called the
Bleeding.
The Bleeding Orchid.
Yep.
So he's got that too. He's got a couple of videos. A lot of it's linked on there. So like I said, this is everything up until a couple years ago. A lot of Dat Piff links.
I saw Joseph say what just happened. It sounded like he was crying for a second. And this is what I'll say. That he is, bro. He bleeds for this shit, man. Like this is why we keep fucking with Skin and Bones, bro. People sleep on him and don't understand his vast knowledge of seventh sign. When he was asked to be in this and to be part of this, he didn't just fuck around and say, oh, this is the late. Like, he knows the shit inside and out, okay? He is like a historian, and he believes so deeply in the seventh sign and what they've been through. It's more, I'm not going to say it's more than any other affiliate group or anything like that, but what seventh sign means to these guys is different. You got to know this by seeing Skin, by seeing Black tonight, by seeing Majesty tonight. You heard Majesty say it in our interview. I can't be former, okay? This is something different. It's not a record label. This is something that they embody and live. And so when we talk to Skin and you gotta bring up something like Q Loco, or you gotta bring up these people that passed before his time, it it touches him because he believes so much in the steps that people like Capo laid for him to be part of this, that it breaks his heart that he doesn't get to share this time with with someone like that, with someone like Nina, because these people laid the foundation for the life that he lives every day of his life. So it touches him on another level. He's one of the most passionate affiliates that we've ever had on the show, and we continue to have him because the dude lives, bleeds, and breathes this. And he's one of my most trusted resources, bro. I go anytime it's 7 sign or anything like that, I go to him all the time because he's got the fucking knowledge, bro.
He's got the knowledge, not just of the 7, not just of Bone Thug history. He's got all that, but he also has tremendous esoteric knowledge. I mean, I don't know if you guys are adept and caught on to a lot of the things that Skin was saying. He was speaking on many different levels tonight. I guess, bro, if you wanted to get caught up on to even have a glimpse of what Skin's talking about, I mean, I guess a primer would be Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, just to get a primer on where Skin's mind is at.
And I know something that you believe in that he mentioned, and I didn't want to cut him off to mention this to you, but you heard him say, like, hey, we ritualized this.
Yep.
Like before you and me ever sat down and said, yo, let's do Beyond the Harmony, like Skin's like, this was already in the world to be done. You guys didn't choose to do this. We chose this for you years before you ever even talked about it. You know, like Skin really believes that, like people had to deliver the message that could be trusted, and they put this in the universe for 2 motherfuckers like me and you to come and be trusted with the story, you know. And that's why I fuck with Skin and Bones, bro. This is more than just some Bone Thug music to him, man. This is a way of life. This is life.
Yeah. Oh, man. The more I learn, the more I understand Skin and Bones. Like it takes a while, and once you start to figure it out, it's a beautiful thing. And I we got to ritualize things in favor for Skin, man, to give him the fertile land that he's given us. And
I'm gonna have Skin involved in the network too. We talk a lot on the side, and I got ideas, and I've had big ideas for like doing the whole Bone Thug universe family tree. And I was talking to Skin, and I was like, instead of me sitting down and trying to do that all in one thing, the best way to do it is to start with each branch and then put them together at the end. And I was like, you're my guy, Skin. Like, let's do all these generations of 7th sign and get the 7th sign part of the tree done. You know what I mean? Because then it just makes it, you know, I got 1/5 of the tree down, you know, and Skin's my guy to do that. So I'm really hoping he's part of the network.
Beyond the harmony for the fans we celebrate.